میکنیم reciting together the 45th dua of the Sahifa Sajjadiyah, which was the dua of our beloved fourth Imam Zain al-Abidin, bearing farewell to the holy month of Ramadan. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It was as if we started this month a few minutes ago. It was as if it was yesterday when they told us it's the first night before Ramadan. Ya Allah, another month of Ramadan has passed from our life. Don't allow us, don't let us to be one of the deprived ones in this month. Remembering all the deceased ones, ulama, the scholars, shuhada, the martyrs. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Allahumma يا من لا يرغب في الجزاء ويا من لا يندم على العطاء ويا من لا يكافئ عبده على الثواب منتك ابتداء وعفوك تفضل وعقوبتك عاد وقضاؤك خيار إن أعطيت لم تشب عطاك بمن وإن منعت لم يكن منعك تعديا تشكر من شكرك وأنت لهمته شكرك وتكافئ من حمدك وأنت علمته حمدك تستر على من لو شئت فذهته وتجود على من لو شئت منعته وكلاهما أهل منك للفضيحة والمان غير أنك بنيت أفعالك على التفضل وأجريت قدرتك على التجاوز وتلقيت من عصاك بالحلم وأمهلت من قصد لنفسه بالذل تستنذرهم بأناتك إلى الإنابة وتترك معاجلتهم إلى التوبة لكي لا يهلك عليك هالكهم ولا يشقى بنعمتك شقيهم إلا أن تولي الإعذار إلي وبعد ترادف الحجة علي كرما من عفوك يا كريم وعائدة من عطفك أنت الذي فتحت لعبادك بابا على عفوك وسميته التوبة وجعلت على ذلك الباب دليلا من وحيك لعلا يذلوا عنه فقلت تبارك اسمك توبوا إلى الله توبة نصوحا عسى ربكم أن يكفر عنكم سيئاتكم ويدخلكم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار يوم لا يخزي الله النبي والذين آمنوا معه نورهم يسعى بين أيديهم وبأيمانهم يقولون ربنا أتمم لنا نورنا واغفر لنا إنك على كل شيء قدير. فما عذر من أغفلت دخول ذلك المنزل بعد فتح الباب وإقامة الدليل وأنت الذي زدت في الصوم على نفسك لعبادك تريد ربحهم في متاجرتهم لك وفوزهم بالوفادة عليك والزيادة منك فقلت تبارك اسمك وتعالى من جاء بالحسنة فله عشر أمثالها ومن جاء بالسيئة فلا يجزى إلا مثلها وقلت مثل الذين ينفقون أموالهم في سبيل الله كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة والله يضاعف لمن يشاء. وقلت من ذا الذي يقرض الله قرضا حسنا فيضاعفه له أضعافا كثيرا وما أنزلت من نظائرهن في القرآن من تضاعيف الحسنات فأنت الذي دللتهم بقولك من غيبك وترغيبك الذي فيه غضهم على ما لو سترته عنهم لم تدركه أبصارهم ولم تهي أسماهم ولم تلحقه أوهامهم فقلت اذكروني أذكركم واشكروا لي ولا تكفرون. وقلت لئن شكرتم لأزيدنكم ولئن كفرتم إن عذابي لشديد. وقلت ادعوني أستجب لكم إن الذين يستكبرون عن عبادتي سيدخلون جهنم داخرين فسميت الدعاء كعبادة وتركه استكبارا وتوعدت على تركه دخول جهنم داخرين فذكروك بمنك وشكروك بفضلك ودعوك بأمرك وتصدقوا لك طلبا لمزيدك وفيها كانت نجاتهم من غضبك وفوزهم برضاك. ولو دل مخلوق مخلوقا من نفسه على مثل الذي دللت عليه عبادك منك كان موصوفا بالإحسان ومنعوتا بالامتنان ومحمودا بكل لسان فلك الحمد ما وجد في حمدك مذهب وما بقي للحمد لفظ تهمد به ومعنى ينصرف إليك يا من تحمد إلى عباده بالإحسان والفضل وغمرهم بالمن والتول ما أفشى فينا نعمتك وأسبغ علينا منتك وأخصنا ببرك هديتنا لدينك الذي اصطفاك وملتك التي ارتداك وسبيلك الذي سناك وبسرتنا الزلفة لديك والوصول إلى كرامتك اللهم وأنت جعلت من صفايا تلك من صفايا تلك الوظائف وخصائص تلك الفروض شهر رمضان الذي اختصصته من سائر الشهور وتخيرته من جميع الأزمنة والدهور وآثرته على كل أوقات السنة بما أنزلت فيه من القرآن والنور وضاعفت فيه من الإيمان وفرضت فيه من الصيام ورغبت فيه من القيام وأجللت فيه من ليلة القدر التي هي خير من 1000 شهر ثم آثرتنا به على سائر الأمم واصطفيتنا بفضله دون أهل الملل فصمنا بأمرك نهارا وقمنا بعونك ليلا متأربين بصيامه وقيامه لما أردتنا له من رحمتك وتسببنا إليه من مثوبتك وأنت المليء بما رغب فيه إليك الجواد بما سئلت من فضلك القريب إلى من هاول قربك وقد أقام فينا هذا الشهر مقام حمد فسهبنا صحبة مبرور وأربحنا أفضل أرباح العالمين ثم قد فارقنا عند تمام وقته وانقطاع مدته ووفاء عدده فنحن مودعوه وداع من عز فراقه علينا وغمنا وأوحشنا انصرافه الله ولزمنا له الذمام المحفوظ والحرمة المرئية والحق المغفي فنحن قائلون السلام عليك يا شهر الله الأكبر ويا عيد أولياء داره ماه رمضون تموم میشه، معلوم نیست ماه رمضون بعد زنده باشیم. در این خونه بیا السلام علیک یا اکرم مسحوب من الاوقات و یا خیر شهر فی الایام و الساعات. السلام علیک من شهر قربت فیه الآمال و نشرت فیه الأعمال. السلام علیک من قرین جل قدره موجودا و افجع فقده مفقودا. خیلی دلم برات تنگ میشه شبای قشنگ ماه رمضون و مرجو عالم فراق. السلام علیک من علیف آلس مقبلا فسر و اوحش منقذیا فمذب. السلام علیک من مجاور رقت فیه القلوب و قلت فیه الذنوب. Don't take me back to the life I had before Ramadan. How sweet has been the life of sinning less, of being a better servant for you, oh Allah. Assalamu alayka min nasirin أعان على الشيطان وصاحب سنغل سبل الإحسان. السلام عليك ما أكثر أتقى الله فيك و ما اسعد من رأى حرمتک بک. گفت هم نشینان گناهکار من از اول ما همگی دوست خوب تو شدند لامن. خیلی ها رو آزاد کردین ماه رمضون. السلام علیک ما کان اماک للذنوب و استرک لانواع العیوب. السلام علیک ما کان اطولک علی المجرمین و احیبک فی صدور المؤمنین. السلام علیک من شهر لا تنافس الایام. السلام علیک من شهر هو من كل امر سلام. السلام علیک غیر کریه المصاحبه ولا ذمیم الملابسه. السلام علیک کما وفدت علینا بالبرکات و غسلت عنا دنس الخطیئات. السلام علیک غیر مودع البرمات ولا متروک صیامه سما. السلام علیک من مطلوب قبل وقت و محزون علیه قبل فوت. السلام عليك كم من سوء صرف بك عنا وكم من خير أفيض بك علينا. السلام عليك وعلى ليلة القدر التي هي خير من 1000 شهر. Each of these salams are bidding farewell to the month of Allah. Assalamu alayka ma kana ahrasana bil amsalak wa ashadda shawqana gadan ilayk. السلام عليك وعلى فضلك الذي هرمنا وعلى ماضٍ من بركاتك سلبنا. اللهم إنا أهل هذا الشهر الذي شرفتنا به ووفقتنا بمنك له حين جهل الأشقياء وقتا وهرموا الشقاء فضلا. أنت ولي ما آثرتنا به من معرفته وهديتنا له من سنته وقد تولينا بتوفيقك صيامه وقيامه على تقصير وأدينا فيه قليلا من كثير. اللهم فلك الحمد إقرارا بالإساءة واعترافا بالعداء ولك من قلوبنا عقد الندم ومن ألسنتنا صدق الاعتذار فأجرنا على ما أصابنا فيه من التفريط أجرا نستدرك به الفضل المرغوب فيه ونعتاض به من أنواع الذخر المحروس عليك وأوجب لنا عذرك على ما قصرنا فيه من حقك وابلغ بأعمارنا ما بين أيدينا من شهر رمضان المقبل فإذا بلغتنا فإنا على تناول ما أنت أهله من العبادة وأدنا إلى القيام بما يستحقه من الطاعة وأجر لنا من صالح العمل ما يكون دركا لحقك في الشهرين من شهور الدهر. اللهم وما ألممنا به في شهرنا هذا من لمم أو إثم أو واقعنا فيه من ذنب واكتسبنا فيه من خطيئة على تعمد منا أو على نسيان ظلمنا فيه أنفسنا أو انتهكنا به حرمة من غيرنا altogether فصلى على واسترنا بستره واعف عنا بعفوك ولا تنسبنا فيه لأعين الشامتين ولا تبسط علينا فيه ألسن الطائنين واستعملنا بما يكون هدة وكفارة لما أنكرت منا فيه برأفتك التي لا تنفد وفضلك الذي لا ينقص. اللهم صل على واجبر مصيبتنا بشهرنا وبارك لنا في يوم عيدنا وفطرنا واجعله من خير يوم مر علينا أجل به العفو وأمهاه لذنب واغفر لنا ما خفي من ذنوبنا وما علم. اللهم أسلخنا بانسلاخ هذا الشهر من خطايانا وأخرجنا بخروجه من سیئاتنا. ما رمضان داره تموم میشه، به خروجش قسمت میدیم بدیامونو با تموم شدن این ماه تموم کن. و جعلنا من اسعد اهله به و اجزلهم قسما فی و اوفرهم خحظا من. اللهم من رأى هذا الشهر حق رعایته و حفظ حرمته حق حفظها و قام بحدوده حق قیامها و اتقى ذنوبه حتى تقاطعها او تقرب الیک بقربته او جبت رضاک له و عطفت رحمتک علیک. به حق اون بندای خوبی که حق ما رمضانو ادا کردن، قشنگ تو این ماه روزه گرفتن، شبهای این ماه رو به عبادت زنده نگه داشتن. این بنده هایی که پیش تو آبرو دارن ازت میخوای فهب لنا مثله من وجدك واعتنا اضعافه من فضلك فإن فضلك لا يغيب وإن خزائنك لا تنقص بل تفيض وإن معادن إحسانك لا تفنى وإن عطاءك للعطاء المهنى. اللهم صل على محمد واكتب لنا مثل أجور من صام أو تعبد لك فيه إلى يوم القيامة. یعنی همون اجری که به مولامون صاحب از زمان میدی برا ما همونو بنویس. کسی که صائم واقعی است فقط اوست، کسی که تو رو عبادت میکنه واقعا الی یوم القیامه فقط او و پیروان راستینشن. اللهم انا نتوب الیک فی یوم فطرنا الذي جعلته للمؤمنين عيدا وسرورا ولأهل ملتك مجمعا ومحتشدا من كل ذنب أذنبنا أو سوء أسلفنا أو خاطر شر أضمرنا توبة من لا ينطوي على رجوع إلى ذنب ولا يعود بعدها في خطيئة توبة نسوها خلصت من الشك والارتياب فتقبلها منا وارض عنا وثبتنا عليها. اللهم ارزقنا خوف عقاب الوعيد وشوق ثواب الموعود حتى نجد لذة ما ندعوك به وكعبة ما نستجيرك منه وجعلنا عندك من التوابين الذين أوجبت لهم محبتك وقبلت منهم مراجعة طاعتك. Recite along. يا عدل العالمين اللهم تجاوز عن آبائنا وأمهاتنا وأهل ديننا جميعا من سلف منهم ومن غبر إلى يوم القيامة. اللهم صل على محمد نبينا وآله كما صليت على ملائكتك المقربين وصل عليه وآله كما صليت على أنبياءك المرسلين وصل عليه وآله كما صليت على عبادك الصالحين وأفضل من ذلك يا رب العالمين صلاة تبلغنا بركتها وينالنا نفعها ويستجاب لها دعاؤنا إنك أكرم من رغب إليك وأكفى من توكل عليك وأعطى من سئل من فضلك وأنت على كل شيء قدير.
هبني بفضلك وتصدق علي بعفك أي رب جللني بسترك واعف عن توبيخي بكرم وجهك، فلو اطلع اليوم على ذنبي غيرك ما فعلته، ولو خفت تعجيل العقوبة لاجتنبته.
و من مگر چیستم ای خدا و چقدر وزن وجودی من است و چه جایی از پهنه بیکران عفو تو را اشغال می کنم. پس به کرامتت بگذر و از دریچه عفوت به این خطاکار بنگر. خدای من، این تن عریان گناه نیازمند لباس ستاری توست. تو را به آبروی تو سوگند که آن را در آفتاب سوزان شماتتت رها مکن. خدایا، من واقفم به این حقیقت تلخ که اگر از بندگان تو کسی گناه مرا میفهمید، من پرهیز میکردم از ادامه گناه، و یا اگر تو در عقوبت و مجازات اهل تعجیل بودی، باز من میترسیدم از تکرار گناه.
لا لأنك أهون الناظرين وأخف المطلعين، بل لأنك يا رب خير الساترين وأحكم الحاكمين وأكرم الأكرمين، ستار العيوب غفار الذنوب علام الغيوب، تستر الذنب بكرمك وتؤخر العقوبة بحلمك.
اما این را نیز تو میدانی که این ماجرا نه از سر بی‌اعتنایی به توست و یا خار و کوچک و بی مقدار شمردن تو و از بندگان تو کوچکتر دانستن تو. پناه میبرم، پناه بر تو از این گمان، پناه بر تو. بل همه از این روز که تو خدای من خوب ترین پوشاننده، دقیق ترین حکم کننده، مهربان ترین بخشنده، زیباترین درگذرنده و بیشترین آمرزنده. تو علی رغم دانستن نهانی ها پرده کرامت بر عیوب و گناهان می افکنی و مجازات و تنبیه را با دستهای حلم خویش به تأخیر می اندازی.
One last thing, there will be boxes here to collect your fitriya and kafara. You can also pay the dues online through our website. If you go to hijrat.org/Eid, EID, you can pay for fitriya, which is $15, and also you can pay for kafara, which is $5 per day, inshallah. Please recite another salawat ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa محمد وعجل فرجهم. Alhamdulillah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. Ilahi antighni bil huda wa alhamna at-taqwa. 2 quick points before inshallah I start start inshallah. Number 1 is that when we were explaining the ahkam at the end, I said I myself do not really like praying on the airplane, but we have to. And then one of the brothers mentioned the fact that we don't know, maybe that salat gets accepted, while other salats that we have made in other places were not accepted. Who knows? So take, recognize the value of each salat that you pray, and think of it, as Amir al-Mu'min alayhi salam said, to be your last prayer, your last salat. How would you perform it? How would you offer it? Once I was flying from Detroit, Michigan, all the way to Frankfurt. That was 4 or 5 years ago. And I got up with my prayer mat to pray at the back of the airplane. And everybody was either asleep. It was by the Fajr time. So I was checking out from the window, making sure it's the right time to pray Salatul Fajr. And I got my prayer mat, went to the back of the airplane, and everybody was in their sleep or whatever. I thought maybe I'm the only Muslim on the flight or on board. And I said to myself, oh Allah, the fact that you have honored me with Islam, and the fact that I have the pride or the honor to be able to pray for you, even like this, in the flight, even though my salat does not have attention, even though my salat is lacking a lot, has lots of flaws. Oh Allah, if I go to sajda and thank you for the rest of my life for just this salat itself, I can't thank you enough. That's number 1. Number 2 is that this dua, the 45th dua of Imam Zainul Abidin alayhi salam that we just recited, is filled with beautiful statements on the importance of the month of Ramadan. Many of the scholars recommended to recite this dua on the very first night of the month of Ramadan, even though it's bidding farewell to the month of Ramadan. But in order to know the value of this month and be reminded of what this month is, many of the scholars recommended us to recite this dua on the very beginning. So if you get the time on your own, in your own solitude, look at this dua again. Don't let it be enough for you to recite it in the masjid. Now that we have recited it together, look at it on your own. Look at the terms of it, especially those salams, those assalamu alaik that it has, bidding farewell to this month, has a lot of beauty in it and makes you, inshallah, take benefit of the remaining time of this month of Ramadan by the will of Allah. Please recite the salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. So we got to the important part of the letter 31st of Nahj Al-Balagha. And if you recall, last night we got to the part that Imam said, don't sell your hereafter with the price of, don't purchase this dunya with the price of the hereafter, or don't sell your hereafter for your dunya. وَلَا تَبِعْ آخِرَتَكَ بِدُنْيَاكَ وَدَعِ الْقَوْلِ فِي مَا لَا تَعْرِفْ. And then put aside the talks and conversations that you do not have enough knowledge and expertise on. وَالْخِطَابِ فِي مَا لَمْ تُكَلِّفْ. And addressing or saying things that it's not wajib for you, it's not burden on you to say. Someone leaves you with a secret, you have to keep it on yourself. You have to keep it to yourself. Unless someone has asked you to reveal it, you have to keep it, right? So if it is not your taklif, leave that khitab aside. This part is the part that I'm going to focus tonight. Imam says, وَأَمْسِكْ, stay away, keep off, عن طريق, the track from which إذا خفت ضلالته, from which you are having the fear to go astray. So if it is foggy out there and you're driving, what would you normally do? Slow down, pull to the side, wait, seek help, you turn your signals on, and so on and so forth. You make sure that you're driving within the safest speed. Imam says, in your life, my dear beloved Hassan, if there is the fear of falling into going astray, then do what? Imsak. Imsak means what? Staying away. So what do we do during fasting? We do imsak. We stay away of drinking, eating, anything that nullifies the fasting. So Imam says, va'amsik. Stay away. Keep off. Wait. And then Imam says, فَإِنَّ الْكَفَّ عِنْدَ حَيْرَةِ الظَّلَالِ خَيْرٌ مِنْ رُكُوبِ الْأَحْوَالِ. Indeed, if you wait in the hayra, when there is the fear of straying, this hayra means that when you're stranded, when you have hayra, when you don't have a choice, when things are not clear to you, and the hayrat al-zalal, and the fear of straying is better than embarking on dangers. Just think of the example of the drive when things are not safe. But should we stop motion? No. Should we stop motion or no? Ayatollah Ali Safai Ha'iri has a beautiful statement. He says, کفر متحرک بهتر از اسلام راکد است. Should we stop motion? Should we stop progress? No. Imam doesn't say stop forever. Imam says do imsak, stay away, find the good direction and start moving again. That should not lead you to complete a stop. Sometimes that happens to us. We lose our power to make decision and move on. That shouldn't be the case. Islam is better to be in motion, meaning that it is better for you to progress each year. Otherwise, things become monotonic and you get tired of practicing Islam. Why is it that some people leave Islam after embracing it? It's because they feel that there's no more need for progress. Things become very monotonic for them. Oh, it's just the prayer, and things become very ordinary and typical for them. And it gets boring for them. مرحوم آقای صفایی حائری, he says, کفر متحرک به اسلام میرسه کما اینکه سلمان ها رو به اسلام رسوند. The same way Salman used to be not a follower of Islam, but because he was in the path of progress and he was in motion and he was in harakah, what happened? He ended up becoming a true follower of Ahlul Bayt, to the extent that we have about him Salmano minna Ahlul Bayt. Such a high status. He is from the Ahlul Bayt. He is from the progeny of the Rasulullah. He is a member of the household of the Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. And on the other hand, when Islam becomes motionless, when there is no progress, when your Islam is dead, it is something that you have just inherited, and at some point the practice of it becomes so boring for you, then that should ring a bell. Why? Because then he makes the example of Talha and Zubair. that their Islam, because it had no progress, they ended up becoming kafir. They ended up becoming the enemies of Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam. Therefore, Ya Hassan, أمسك عن طريق إذا خفت ضلالته. Pull over, but that shouldn't stop you from motion. Wait, find the right direction, find the safe way, and go. Move on. وَأْمُرْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, and ask others, invite others, بقول لين, بقول حسن, in a good way, in an effective way, impacting them, invite them to the right path. If we say وَأْمُرْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ, the bare translation, or the literal translation is command them towards the good. But sometimes we think that we have to force people towards the good. No, this wa'amur is reminding them, inviting them. And Imam says, wa'amur bil ma'roof, ask the people to do good. And what happens? Takun min ahlih. And you will be thus amongst the good doers. Takun min ahlih. We come here on the nights of Ramadan. I share the narrations of Ahlul Bayt with you, and I try to transfer their messages to you. But if I am not acting to what I say, my lectures will be having zero effect on you. And imagine if we all had acted upon, or if I myself had acted upon every word of Amir al-Mu'minin, how effective my words would have been, how more effective my words would have been. You would hear one of these lectures and you would change to a totally different person every night. That's what happened to the followers of Ahlul Bayt. We have so many examples of this. Imam says, when you do Amr bil Ma'ruf, be one of the good doers before inviting others to do good. Support your words by actions. Have you heard of the story of Bushra Hafi? Bush, the barefoot? Have you heard of the story? If anyone, raise your hand. Well, alhamdulillah, then I don't need to say it. Okay, I'll say it. Bushra Hafi was one of the ashraf, one of the wealthy people of the time of our beloved Imam Qadhim alayhi salam, our seventh Imam. It's been said that he had a party going on with loud music of the time and dancing and all the haram things that shouldn't be done. And Imam passed by. And apparently the servant of Bush was out in the street running some errands. And Imam was passing by and asked this man, who is the owner of this house? Is he a slave or is he free? And this man got surprised. So of course he is a free man. A slave cannot own such a house and cannot hold such a party going. This man, it took him a bit of time. He goes back. Bush asked him, why did it take you so long to come back? Then he started saying, he said, I saw a man. He asked me a question. He said, the owner of this house is a slave or a free man? I said, he's a free man. And he said, that's why he's sinning, or that's why he's doing things that he's doing right now. It's been said that Bush asked this servant of his, what were the indications? Describe how did this man look like? And Bush did. And the servant did. Bush noticed right away that this is Imam Qadhim alayhi salam. What did he do? He did not even waste a second to go and find his shoes. He ran into the street trying to find the Imam barefoot. He got to the Imam. He said, what did you say to my servant? Imam said, if the owner of this house was the slave of Allah, he wouldn't have done such a thing. And it's been said that Bush fell down on the ground and started shedding tears and changed from that very moment. There is a big difference on who does the Amr bil Ma'ruf. Imam Hussein alayhi salam, on his way to Karbala, in one of these stations, it's been said that Zuhair ibn Qin, every time that he was seeing or foreseeing that they're going to coincide with the caravan of Abu Abdullah alayhi salam, he would make his way so that he stays away. In one of these stations or in one of these locations that Imam had stopped, they stopped together. And then Imam sends one of his followers to call for Zuhair, to invite him for having a conversation. First time he rejects, second time he rejects, the third time he has a good wife, reminds him that this is the grandson of Rasulullah. Go and see what is he going to talk about. Zuhair goes, no one knows what was the conversation of Imam and Zuhair. Nowhere in the history you can find what did Imam Hussein alayhi salam tell Zuhair in those few seconds or moments. It's been said that he came back to his own tent shortly. He said to his wife, you are free to go. I'm going to stay with Hussein ibn Ali. وَقَدْ أَشْرَقَتْ وَجْهَهُ, and his face was filled with light. It really matters who does Amr bil Ma'ruf. I ask my son to pray Salatul Layl and I do not pray Salatul Layl myself. I ask my daughter to wear hijab. I do not really keep and protect and safeguard my own gaze. I look at everything and I expect my wife and my kids to uphold the values of Islam. I ask the members of the masjid to not do ghibah, and on my own I always do ghibah. It really matters who is doing Amr bil Ma'ruf. Amr bil Ma'ruf wa takun min ahlih. Command for good, ask people to do good, and thus you will be amongst the good doers. We don't know, and this might bring you into tears. It's okay. We might find out on the day of judgment that Imam Hussein alayhi salam postponed the battle to the day of Ashura so that there is a chance that Hur returns to the camp of Abu Abdullah. We don't know. Maybe that was the purpose Imam postponed the entire battle to the day of Ashura, so that one more human being is rescued and freed. And Imam did Amr bil Ma'ruf on him. Imam says to him, Sakalatka ummuk. If someone tells us, an ordinary man tells us that may I see your mother grieving for you, what do? We're going to go after that man and defend ourselves. The man keeps silence. He thinks to himself that your mother is Fatima Zahra salamullah alayha. Amongst the companions of Abu Abdullah al-Hussein in Karbala, someone like her makes us hopeful about getting forgiveness of Allah, about being forgiven by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why? Because he was an ordinary man just like one of us. If we talk about Habib ibn Madahir and all those, they had high status. All of them were stars in the sky. But someone like her. And you know, when is it that Imam says, Anta hurrun kama sammaytahum ummuk? You are a free man just like what your mother named you after? It was by the time he became shaheed. So on the day of Ashura, when Imam goes to him, he looks at him. Inshallah, if I'm alive in Muharram, I'll recite it for you. But Imam tells him, one single word of the Imam or someone who is Ahlul Ma'ruf is enough for us to wake up. A sinful man like me I hold you for 25, 30 minutes every night, and there's no achievement. وَأْمُرْ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ تَكُنْ مِنْ أَهْلِهِ وَأَنْكِرِ الْمُنْكَرِ, same applies. بِيَدِكَ وَلِسَانِكَ وَبَايِنْ مَنْ فَعَلَهُ بِجُهْدِكَ. And this test وَأَنْكِرْ, from evil with your action as well as your speech. بِيَدِكَ, meaning your action. This test, have a stance against the munkar and evil. You're sitting in a gathering and something haram is happening. Making an example, ghiba is happening there. Something wrong. I'm going to a restaurant, they're selling alcohol. What is my Islamic duty? Do you have a duty or no? This test, express your opposition to munkar if you see munkar. Don't be so neutral about it. Because if you're neutral, they're going to perceive it as if you're happy with it and you're okay with it. And Imam says, not only with your action, but with your words. And stay away from those who commit sins, who disobey Allah. Keep your distance. Don't say it's okay. Keep your distance. Who am I letting into my house? Who am I befriending with? بجهدك, by the best of your ability. فجاهد وجاهد في الله حق جهاده. Struggle for Allah as is His due. And when we talk about jihad, what do we always think of? Or what is the very first impression that comes to our mind? Someone with a gun in a battlefield, possibly wearing completely black with long beard, right? That is the most ironic picture that can come to mind from the word jihad. Jihad means a struggle, means a striving, an endless striving, a constant struggle for Allah. Haqqa jihadeh, as it's His due in every aspect and dimension of your life. You're at work, be a mujahid fi sabilillah. Do everything only for the sake of Allah. No one is worth doing anything for except Allah. If you're helping others, do it for the sake of Allah. If you're going to work, do it for the sake of Allah. In the morning when you're leaving your home, say, qurbatan ila Allah. Oh Allah, I seek proximity to you. Even though I'm going to work. Even though I'm going to make dollars out of it. Even though I'm going to provide for my family, I do it for the sake of your satisfaction. And see the barakah of it. You're a university student, go to your classes, have the wudu on. And think of it as an act of ibadah. And as a mujahidah. As a struggling for Allah. And see how much blessing will be bestowed or showered upon what you do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will increase it. وَلَا تَأْخُذُكَ. This is what I'm going to end. Imam says to Imam Hassan al-Mushtaba, Ya Hassan, Ya Bunayya, وَلَا تَأْخُذُكَ فِي اللَّهِ اللَّوْمَةُ لَائِمٍ. وَلَا تَأْخُذُكَ فِي اللَّهِ لَوْمَةُ لَائِمٍ. What is malama? Or what is malamat in Farsi? Think about it. Rebuking, right? Sarzanish. Rebuking. Sometimes the Farsi word is easier. Reviling. And the reviling of a reviler should not deter you in the matter of Allah, in the matters of Allah. What does that mean? Get strong. Become strong. I'm so weak that if I'm on my way to masjid, if I say salam alaikum to someone and they do not respond to my salam, let alone lawmatul la'im, let alone rebuking, my mind during the salat will become busy. Why did that brother did not reply my salam? Who cares? You did your duty, that's it. Get over it. That brother looked at me in a different way, in a mean way, said something rude to me. وَلَا تَأْخُذُكَ فِي اللَّهِ لَوْمَةُ لَائِمٍ. If you found something is your duty on the path of Allah, don't let the other kill your motivation. And I've experienced this myself in my life. Anytime I'm doing something absolutely right, all of these obstacles come on my way to test my determination. And when that happens, be aware that what you're doing is right. Everyone is trying to stop you. I'm going to masjid tonight. Someone said, you might fall into an accident. Don't go. Masajids are not safe anymore. Look at the imam who was stabbed in the back in Patterson, New Jersey. Don't go to the masjid. Someone called me on the day after this happened. They said, are you sure you're safe? You go and stay as an imam in the masjid. So you pray. Make sure nobody's stabbing you from the back. I was like, man, the guns are, everybody has a gun here in the United States. If I was supposed to be scared, I should have been scared a long time ago. If we were all supposed to be scared, we should have been scared a long time ago. We need to come to the masjid. It's our duty. Especially in this country that there is no access to the shrines of Ahlul Bayt. And that if we don't go to the masjid, we're about to forget our Islamic identity. It's kind of wajib for us to go to the masjid. It's so different from living in an Islamic environment. Much different. We need to go to the masjid. وَلَا تَأْخُذُكَ فِي اللَّهِ اللَّوْمَةُ لَائِمٍ. How many people do you know in your life that they left Islam and their beliefs because of peer pressure? Because they felt they are alone and isolated in this country. Become strong. The same way you care about building your muscles, think about building your soul and heart. Make it strong. This is what Imam Amir al-Mu'minin asks his son, Imam Hassan al-Mujtaba, وَلَا تَأْخُذُكَ فِي اللَّهِ لَوْمَةُ لَائِمٍ. Do not be scared of malamat. That's going to happen. People are going to call you with names and things are going to happen to you. You're going to be tested. But there is one wealth that you have, and that is the deen. There's a sister, she used to come to this community. She's a convert, and right now she lives in Qom. And I'm going to end with this story. She had gone through lots of ups and downs. She has been tested with poverty. She had been tested with a bad spouse. She had been going through lots. And once me and my family met her in Iran. And the very first thing that I asked her was this, after she explained her situation and she narrated her story. I said, didn't any of these events or incidents lead you to think about leaving Islam? Because after embracing Islam, you were deprived from good family, you were deprived from good job, you were deprived from good income, so on and so forth. Immigrants don't understand this. We do not understand the issues and the obstacles that the reverts brothers and sisters face. The reverts face a whole different world of problems and issues. She burst into tears. She started crying. She said, that is the only wealth I have. If I do not have the deen, what do I have? And I was proud in my heart. I was proud of her. I was like, if we had thought of deen like that, things would have been much different from what it is today. We would have known the value of the presence of our Imam, and we would have been sincere when we said, Allahumma ajil waliyaka al-faraj. And he would have been back by this time. وَلَا تَأْخُذُكَ فِي اللَّهِ اللَّوْمَةُ لَائِمٍ. Do not forget that things and tests will come your way. Do not let your determinations deter and decline. Inshallah. اللهم إنا نسألك وندعوك باسمك العظيم الأعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم إلهي بمحمد وعلي وفاطمة والحسن والحسين وتسعة المعصومين من ذرية الحسين وبدماء شهدائنا وبإمام زماننا 10 times all together with attention. Ya Allah. يا الله يا رحمن يا رحيم يا مقلب القلوب ثبت قلوبنا على دينك واكفنا يا قاضي الحاجات ويا كافي المحمات إنك على كل شيء قدير. إلهي يا حميد بحق محمد، يا آلي بحق علي، يا فاطر بحق فاطمة، يا محسن بحق الحسن، يا قديم الإحسان بحق الحسين. Oh Allah, we ask you by the right of Amir al-Mu'mineen to include us amongst the good doers and inshallah make our amr bil ma'roof effective in this life of dunya. Ya Allah, we ask you for the right of Amir al-Mu'mineen to make us from those who detest from munkar and evil, and inshallah to help us to draw our borderlines with those who openly disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh Allah, we ask you by the right of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam to help us through any time or any moment that we got stranded between guidance and misguidance, to help us and direct us towards the right path, inshaAllah. Oh Allah, we ask you, give us such strength that nothing can damage our determination in the path of obedience of you, Ya Allah. Allahumma ajjal waliyika al-faraj والعافية والنصر وجعلنا من خير أعوانه وأنصاله.